Earlier this year, I made 20 short films in 20 days. If you haven't seen that, be sure to check out the link in the description. One of the short films was called Falling, and it was a series of shots that connected together more or less seamlessly. Since then, I've had lots of requests on how I did this, and so today we're gonna find out. If you're new to our channel, we're all about sharing mobile filmmaking tools, tips, and techniques for indie filmmakers, YouTube creators, mobile journalists, and really anyone who wants to create better video using their smartphone. And please make sure to check out our website for more in-depth behind-the-scenes looks at our DIY filmmaking process. Shot this with an iPhone 8 Plus with FILMIC Pro shooting 4K 60 for slow motion. Also used a Manfrotto tabletop tripod and a Shoulderpod for the mount. So no gimbal, no dolly, nothing like that. This was all shot handheld and I inverted the tripod. And then two crucial things to make this work. I did my best to keep the speed consistent and also keep my arm in the same spot. Keep the same line going up and down. And then in editing, I use tools to smooth all this out, primarily the slow motion and warp stabilizer. Okay, so the first thing I did was once I imported the clips, they were all 4K 60. I come over here and you can see right now they're actually 24 frames per second. The original clips are 4K 60 frames per second. So in Premiere Pro, you would go into Modify, Interpret Footage, and you could either use the frame rate from the file, which is 60 frames per second, which I don't want to do. I want to conform it to 24p. That way it'll be 40% slow-mo. So I assume this rate is 24 frames per second. Hit OK, and then now all these clips are at 4K 24. As compared to the original here. That was the original clip playing back at 4K 60. And here's the same clip playing back at 4K 24 frames per second. You can see how slow that is. So shooting 4K 60 and slowing it down to 24 is a great way to smooth out your footage. But in addition to that, I used warp stabilizer. So there's the original clip playing. Now turn the warp stabilizer back on. And there it is again with warp stabilizer. It's playing back a little bit stuttery, but that's just this computer in Premiere Pro. It doesn't like these iPhone 4K files very much. Typically I would do a proxy workflow, but I didn't on this project. All right, so how did I get this effect where these shots look like it's one continuous seamless shot or seamless edit? That's where masking comes into play. And this is something you can do in any other editor that allows you to mask, like Final Cut Pro 10, or you could be in After Effects. So let me turn the mask off so you can see the original. And with the mask back on. And I'll step through this. You can see the blue outline of the mask I created. So the tricky part is just following the movement, and you actually use keyframes, which are right here, and you keyframe it as it moves along. So normally I would probably go in and draw the mask full screen. A little easier to see this way. And then you can just move the mask around as needed, depending on the shot. Normally when I keyframe, I do ease in or ease out, but on this, I kept it linear. You wanted constant motion, constant speed. You can see a little junk down here on the corners. I didn't worry about that because I actually letterboxed this for the final version. Stepping through this one here, I'll show it with and without the mask. So you can see the mask outline there, but I've got it turned off. And that's what it really looked like. The idea, of course, is to find objects with straight lines and then blend those two together to make it look like it's a seamless transition. So some of these worked better than the others. I like this transition between the ping pong table and the foosball table. The ping pong table, it's got a nice straight line there. You can see below the table there. So when I added the mask, step through that. That one's a pretty cool effect. And by the way, you can see me right back there in the window reflection. Trying to see if you can see the camera. You can't really see it. But I'm just slowly lowering the camera with the tripod. These edits, while feel continuous, they obviously are stylized. You could do the same thing and make it look realistic, like maybe going down the side of a building or going side to side across different things, and it could actually look realistic, like you're really continuing to pan. And then the hit at the end is just a camera shake effect. So the idea being the camera that was moving from top to bottom hit the ground. Now, I shot all these in about 20 minutes around my office, did it all handheld, and so you could use this technique in a much more advanced way using dollies or gimbals. The key, though, again, is consistent speed to make all the shots match and keeping the camera in the same line the best you can. Warp stabilizer can help a little bit with that, but doing those two things will help your shots edit together more seamlessly. So this is a lo-fi, pretty easy way to do what I think is a pretty high-end look, especially if you take the time and think about the way your shots are going to connect. Think of creative ways to use this, whether it's in short films or vlogs or what have you. So do you guys use editing tricks like this? Definitely let us know in the comments. Please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.